Hi, my name is Andy Irve, and I'm a current pre-nursing student here at Western Carolina University. And for my assignment, I chose to do refugee healthcare in the United States. And as a future healthcare professional, this is something that I am passionate about, and I hope that I can use my degree to help individuals who find themselves in this situation. So before we get started, it is important to define a refugee. So a refugee is a person who faces discrimination based on race, religion, nationality, cultural beliefs, and or gender. So these persecutions cause them to flee their country in hopes to escape and find freedom. So there are approximately 19.5 million refugees worldwide, and 50% of these refugees are children. So here are just a few images that I found online, and these just show the conditions of the environments that these individuals have to live with while they're in the resettlement process, or if they're staying at what we know as refugee camps. And as you can see, their conditions are not very good. So over the past decade, over 200,000 children have been resettled in the United States, all over, and ranging, I think when I was reading it said 48 states host refugees. But this is just a general geographical summary of what countries that make up the majority of refugees here in the United States. And this graph right here shows the populations by country and origin of the percentage of age of the people from these who are refugees. So as you can see in the pink, that is children under the age of 18, and blue is adults ages 18 and over. So you can see that the majority of all of these populations are in fact children. So the resettlement process is very complex and lengthy, and it can take anywhere between 18 to 24 months to complete. The U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Population runs 9 different branches that process and prepare immigrants for resettlement in the United States. And in order for these individuals to come here, they must be referred to by a non-governmental organization or by the United States Bureau. And there are many organizations out there who do watch out for the needs and the living conditions of individuals, and act as their advocate when it comes to allowing them to file for refugee status. And once they reach this resettlement process in the United States, they have to go through a long biographical collection, an in-person interview, an enhanced security screening, as well as a medical screening. And before the individual is flown to the United States, they are given just a brief cultural orientation of what life is like here in the States. So the majority of refugees are women and children, according to One Day's Wages. That is why it is very important for us to understand the situations that these individuals are thrown into once they reach the United States. So there are many traumas that these children have experienced in their country, as well as in their migration process to whichever country they are resettled in. These children have dealt with family separation as well as violence through their long and enduring migration process. When these children are resettled in their new host country, they are often unaware of why they are here. They face many stressors such as separation, loss, identity formation, adaptation to new surroundings, and emotional distress such as anxiety and depression. These overlooked conditions cause behavioral and emotional issues in the lives of these children. So it is very crucial for these adolescents to be treated in order for them to stay out of trouble when it comes to school attendance, as well as in social situations they may encounter. It is especially important to treat their healthcare needs, whether it be physical or mental, so that they can develop into functioning members of the society they are a part of and where they resettle. There are a few setbacks to providing care for these individuals. The main ones are language barrier, access to healthcare for these individuals, the navigation of the United States complex healthcare system, dealing with insurance and just access to general healthcare, and also the misalignment or treatment that deal with cultural or religious backgrounds. So there are many core issues that refugee children face here in the United States. The main one is education, which allow children to further their learning as well as develop new cultural skills. Social identity is also a main issue that refugee children face with once they are resettled into the United States, and it is noted by a youth mentor that refugee children may feel inferior and look to the mainstream kids for cues on how to behave. The children often lose their native identity to where they are from, and by identification with American materialism and violence, they begin to form into not a healthy background to be a part of. And this can also lead to causing these children to get in trouble with laws and safety here in the United States. So another main thing that these children struggle with is changed family dynamics. So according to Bettman, a child often becomes the default person to take care of issues in the household, such as communicating with healthcare providers, landlords, or general services such as utility agents, like paying the electric bill, and it just makes it difficult for the child and the parent, especially when it comes to disciplining their children. So mental health is almost always overlooked, and this is because the process of moving and adapting to a new country and culture is overwhelming for an adult, yet alone a child. And these families are in survival mode once they reach the new country, and that basically just means they're focusing on food and shelter instead of emotional support, which is very well understood, and this period is when stress is the most high. So it's important that there are people around these individuals to help them emotionally, and just to focus on health, not just finding food and shelter. So while these parents are focusing on basic survival needs, these children develop issues with trust, identity, a sense of belonging, and safety, as well as post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression. So Philbrook states that it is crucial for us to put politics to the side and give these individuals the proper treatment and medical attention they need. These unattended needs must be treated on an individual level. Philbrook states that even schools have a limit to how much help they can provide these children, that healthcare and education are very important to help displaced children rebuild their lives and their communities both during and after the conflict. Providing proper health care to these individuals will allow them to grow and develop into healthy, functioning adults of their communities. And when asked in a survey what was the most helpful to a child transitioning from a refugee background to the United States, the child replied that the teachers and students and families who reached out in their free time to help them better understand the culture and resettle had the most impact and helped them develop better social skills and learn the culture better. So realizing the events that lead up to where these children are now is extremely crucial in providing proper support and medical care. Providing programs and having volunteers to help these children resettle and adapt to the unfamiliar culture will create a significant impact on the lives of these individuals as they grow into functioning adults of their communities. And that is the end. Thank you.